Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this special news conference regarding the municipality of North Grenville's acquisition of the Kemptville campus. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Cotty. I am the Chief Administrative Officer for the municipality of North Grenville, and I will act as your MC for this event today. To assist in our presentation, I'm very pleased to introduce to you Ms. Linda Savard, who's the chair of le Conseil des écoles publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario, and that essentially is, she is the president of the school board, the French Public School Board of Eastern Ontario. To her left is Mr. Stéphane Vachon. He is the superintendent of business services with le Conseil des écoles publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario as well. And last but not least, His Worship Mayor David Gordon of the municipality of North Grenville. In addition to the information that I will be presenting, both Ms. Savard and Mayor Gordon will be addressing the media this afternoon. Following all three statements, a period of questions from the media will conclude the news conference. Our goal today is to attempt to answer all questions from the media before concluding the formal portion of this event. Following this, we hope you will join us for refreshments to celebrate the significant acquisition and new initiative for the municipality of North Grenville. I'd now like to call upon Mayor David Gordon to address the group.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's press conference so we can provide you with additional information concerning the acquisition of Kentville campus and the future of the educational and community hub. This is an exciting day for North Grenville. This process started in 2014 and has culminated in today's press conference. It has been a vision for council to have the ownership of the college lands remain in the municipality. I would like to provide you with a timeline of these events. March 12, 2014. The University of Guelph announced that they'd be closing their campuses in Kemptville and Alfred, Ontario. We're no longer accepting new students and would stop teaching at the end of 2015. Nearly all their existing programs would be relocated or replaced at other schools, but the move would cause at least 112 job losses. Moving on to March 8th, 2014, the province tasked former federal agricultural minister Lyle Van Cleef with putting together a report on the 97-year-old Kentville College's longer-term future. The report, dated December 8th, stated the province would consider divesting the property to the municipality of North Grenville so it could be transformed into a facility that teaches more than just agriculture. March 31st, 2016, BDO Canada released their business feasibility assessment of Kentville College. The report concluded that a competitive analysis of the agriculture educational hub market demonstrates a significant value proposition for Kentville College venture, and the educational and community space offered at Kentville College would make it the most comprehensive agricultural hub in the province. April the 11th, 2016, Council passed a resolution to direct the Chief Administrative Officer to proceed with negotiations on behalf of the municipality of North Grenville with the province of Ontario for the acquisition of Kentville College lands. October 26, 2016, Council approved an agreement in principle for the purchase of a large portion of Kentville campus after just over 18 months of negotiations with the province. December 22nd, 2017, Council approved the agreement of the purchase and the sale to acquire Kentville campus property from the Agricultural Research Institute of Ontario and a subsequent sale to the French Language Public School Board. March the 28th, 2018, This is the anticipated date that the acquisition will conclude and the property transferred to North Grenville. As you can see from this timeline provided to you, it has been over 4 years since the announcement by the University of Guelph to close its council to where we stand today at this press conference. I'll now ask Brian Carey, our Chief Administrative Officer for the Municipality of North Grenville, to provide you with information about this acquisition and the next steps. Thank you very much, Brian.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Cal, are we moving the slides along? There we go. So most of you, if not all of you, have heard through releases from both the Municipality of North Grenville and the Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, confirming that the municipality's acquisition of a large portion of the Kentville campus. So more precisely, this comprises of both parcel 1 and 4, as identified on this aerial map, which encompasses 633.3 acres of land and 34 buildings. The areas in gray currently comprise of the total land holding that is Kentville campus. However, these areas are not being purchased by the municipality of North Grenville. Essentially, they represent those lands that comprise what is commonly described as the farm side, which is east of County Road 44, and 3 vacant lots, 2 of which are south of parcel 1 between the existing railway and Bedell Road, and a 3rd lot fronting on Concession Road and the south branch of the Rideau River. So again, the 2 parcels of land identified, parcel 1 and parcel 4, is the property that is being acquired by the municipality. Probably the most asked question of the municipality over the last 2 to 3 years has been the cost to acquire Kentville campus. I'd now like to present these details to you today. Of significant importance, the municipality was not able to enter into negotiations with the province unless we agreed that we would start at market value for the property. I can tell you that the property is assessed at $11 million. Parcel 1 and parcel 4 represent $11 million. The second line, we are subtracting infrastructure deficits and deferred maintenance. As part of the negotiations, the municipality commissioned Novatech, engineering firm out of Ottawa, to inspect the property and identify mostly underground infrastructure deficits and some deferred maintenance. It was mutually agreed that the original market price of $11 million would be reduced by $3.3 million in light of those deficiencies. That resulted in a purchase price of $7.7 million. The Conseil des Écoles Publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario, CPO, is investing in the hub through their purchase of 2 buildings and approximately 7 acres of land in the amount of $3.7 million. This money is to be placed in a municipal reserve fund to be spent exclusively on infrastructure renewal and the development and continued sustainability of the education and community hub. The established purchase price of $7.7 million was further reduced by this $3.7 million amount by way of a forgivable loan with the province of Ontario, provided that these funds were spent as stipulated in the municipal reserve fund over the next 7 years. So as you can see, the purchase price of $7.7 million was reduced by the purchase price of the 2 buildings, being the administration and Rourke building, in the amount of $3.7 million. This leaves us without an outstanding balance of $4 million. The municipality of North Grenville will be negotiating a loan with Infrastructure Ontario for $4 million. The principal and interest costs will then be transferred to the Education and Community Hub operating plan, and that this not-for-profit corporation will be responsible for their costs on an annual basis, which then results to no costs to the taxpayers of North Grenville. This, as I said, was probably the most asked questions over the last 3 years. I understand you probably might have more, and we'll certainly be answering them at the conclusion of the press conference. As I mentioned, the CPO, Conseil des Écoles Publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario, is a new partner with the municipality of North Grenville. It's one of the most exciting and unique aspects of the municipality's purchase of Kentville campus. That is the partnership that has developed with le Conseil des Écoles Publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario. Between the purchase price and the renovations of the buildings, which are already underway, the agreement represents a $9 million investment at the campus. This outlay, combined with that of the Conseil des Écoles Catholiques du Centre-Est, who also operates a school on campus, will bring the total amounts invested under the education pillar to over $12 million. The CPO provides the hub with expertise and innovation in the education field, as well as extensive knowledge of the community hubs and how they can best serve the community. This partnership between the municipality and the CPO will leverage the diverse campus assets and significantly mitigate the risk for hub partners and community stakeholders alike. More detailed information regarding the Conseil des Écoles Publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario's partnership in the Education and Community Hub will be provided by Ms. Savard momentarily. So obviously this represents a new mandate for Kentville campus. As I stated earlier, the operation and maintenance of the renewed Kentville campus will be through a wholly owned, not-for-profit corporation, which will operate at arm's length from the municipality. The mandate for the not-for-profit corporation will be to develop the Kentville campus education and community hub as a multi-tenant site focused on climate change resiliency and low-carbon innovation under the 3 guiding pillars of education and training, health and wellness, and economic development. The renewal, which has already begun, will see campus land and building infrastructure repurposed for use by multiple French and English school boards for early years, elementary, secondary, adult education, and related community service activities. To that end, and building on the education pillar and the campus capacity in plant agriculture, the hub will initiate education pathways and create awareness around the environment and sustainable food production for local and regional students. The educational pathways will include specialized exposure, awareness, experiential, and skills training programs. The hub will be meeting with all boards of education in April to further develop collaboration in education pathways and determine the role that each board can play. Under the health and wellness pillar, the community hub will be developed to support social services. Services that align with existing supports in education and promote child, youth, and family well-being will co-locate on the site, bringing partners together to further leverage the campus's unique capacity, share resources, create efficiencies, and provide the community with greater and improved access. Early plans include arts and culture, recreation in the form of green space and trails, and a botanical and/or community garden. Discussions with potential partners have been initiated and are ongoing. And finally, under the economic development pillar, the Hub will invite additional participation by both profit and not-for-profit organizations, social enterprise partnerships, and business incubation, all of which will provide students with exposure to entrepreneurship and possibly student-managed enterprise activities. As well, discussions with potential partners have been initiated and are ongoing. So our next steps and moving forward. The partnership between the municipality and le Conseil des écoles publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario received matching funding from the Grenville Community Futures Development Corporation to engage a consultant for the initial year and startup phase of operations. A request for proposal for a consultant was issued in December of 2017, and subsequently, Ms. Patricia Remillard was hired on a one-year contract. Ms. Remillard provides leadership to further conceptualize, articulate, and accelerate the realization of the vision for the education and community hub. Her background includes experience in post-secondary administration, the private sectors, and expertise in business development, project management, public administration, international development, leadership, marketing, and communications. The first deliverable associated with this contract has been to engage a third-party firm to assist with the development of a 7-year strategic and business planning document. BDO was retained to complete this task, which at this time is well underway. The final BDO report will also recommend the appropriate not-for-profit governance and operating structure for the community hub. Dr. Trevin Stratton, National Lead in Economic Development with BDO Canada, brings extensive knowledge of community hubs in addition to previous experience with the campus renewal as a result of his leadership role with the BDO Feasibility Study commissioned by the municipality in 2016. As well, a communication strategy will be developed to ensure that all hub partners and community stakeholders are regularly informed of hub activities on a go-forward basis. At this time, I would like to invite Ms. Linda Savard from the Conseil des écoles publiques de l'Est de l'Ontario to address the group.
Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, good afternoon. Nous sommes ravis d'être ici aujourd'hui pour partager cette bonne nouvelle avec la communauté de Kentville. We are very pleased to be here today to share this announcement with the municipality. Nous sommes honorés de la présence de distingués invités, de partenaires et de membres des médias. Thank you all for being with us today. Je tiens à remercier sincèrement la municipalité de Kentville, avec qui nous avons si bien collaboré pour arriver à un partenariat qui va permettre d'offrir à la communauté de langue française de North Grenville un continuum d'apprentissage de qualité dans leur langue. I would like to thank the municipality of Kentville, whose collaboration throughout this process has been nothing short of exemplary. This great partnership will allow North Grenville's francophone community to benefit from an educational continuum from childhood to adulthood in the language of their choice. Nous sommes très fiers du chemin accompli depuis l'ouverture de notre école élémentaire publique Rivière-Rideau en septembre 2016. Et oui, ça fait même pas 2 ans. Mais la croissance des effectifs et l'intérêt de la communauté pour nos écoles élémentaires et secondaires créent un engouement tel que nous devons déjà envisager de nouvelles installations scolaires pour la prestation de nos programmes novateurs. The increase in enrollment and the community's interest in l'école publique Rivière-Rideau has created such enthusiasm that we had to find additional school facilities for the delivery of our innovative programs from kindergarten to grade 12. En faisant l'acquisition d'un terrain de 7,5 acres approximativement, qui inclut les pavillons Rock et administration de l'ancien campus de l'Université de Guelph, le CEPO veut s'inscrire comme un partenaire privilégié dans le développement de la stratégie de carrefour communautaire de la ville. C'est ainsi que dès l'an prochain, ces deux édifices vont abriter les écoles élémentaires et secondaires publiques Rivière-Rideau. The acquisition of this 7.5 approximately acres will allow the CAPO to house elementary and high schools effective next year in the Rourke and the administration buildings. As a result, the CAPO has become a true partner in the development of the city's community hub strategy. C'est un véritable carrefour communautaire qui verra le jour ici même à Kentville. Celui-ci permettra de regrouper sur un même site de nombreux organismes voués notamment à l'adaptation au changement climatique et à l'agriculture, comme le mentionnait M. Corré tout à l'heure. Des thèmes qui sont chers aux valeurs de notre école, qui est certifiée ISO 14000 et ISO 14001. Ces normes environnementales sont reconnues par l'Organisation des Nations Unies pour l'éducation, la science et la culture. The School Community Hub will bring together many organizations dedicated and invested in climate change and agriculture, just like Mr. Curry mentioned earlier on. En plus des programmes éducatifs qui font déjà la renommée de l'école, après seulement 2 ans, d'autres initiatives sont également proposées afin de sensibiliser encore et davantage les étudiants actuels et futurs aux enjeux relatifs au changement climatique et à l'agriculture durable. En effet, nous proposons déjà depuis quelques semaines un programme d'horticulture ouvert à l'ensemble des adultes francophones de l'Est ontarien. Ce projet pilote fait partie de la stratégie provinciale de l'enseignement aux adultes en langue française. Ce partenariat entre le Conseil scolaire du district catholique de l'Est ontarien, le Centre d'éducation et de formation de l'Est ontarien et le CEPO a pour objectif d'offrir un programme de formation professionnelle contextualisé pour les adultes, axé sur l'horticulture et ses domaines connexes. En effet, comme vous le savez sûrement, une pénurie de main-d'œuvre qualifiée de plus de 70 000 emplois dans l'industrie de l'horticulture en Ontario fait en sorte qu'il y a une grande demande à combler. In the last few weeks, we have been offering to French-speaking adults in the area an horticultural program at our school. This is a joint project between le CEPO, the CSDCEO, le Conseil scolaire du district catholique de l'Est ontarien, and the CEFEO, le Centre d'éducation et de formation de l'Est ontarien. Mais notre partenariat avec la municipalité de North Grenville ne s'arrête pas là, puisque des ateliers d'enrichissement culturel en français seront également offerts cet été par le CEPO en partenariat avec la ville. Our partnership with the municipality of North Grenville will continue over the summer, even though our kids are out of school, as the CAPO will deliver French language cultural enrichment program workshops that will be integrated into summer camps that will be offered by the municipality. L'annonce de l'acquisition des terrains et des bâtiments est la preuve tangible de l'engagement du CAPO envers tous les citoyens de la communauté de North Grenville. Comme je vous l'ai dit et répété à maintes reprises, le CAPO est là pour rester et pour permettre aux petits francophones, tout comme des fleurs, d'éclore et de devenir des adultes engagés qui s'investissent à leur tour au sein de leur communauté. The acquisition of this property reiterates the CAPO's commitment to all citizens in the community. The CAPO will continue to partner with North Grenville in order to allow today's French-speaking children to flourish just like flowers and to become adults who are interested in the growth and the welfare of their community. Longue vie à ce partenariat. Merci beaucoup. Bon après-midi.
Thank you very much, Ms. Savard. So this concludes the statements from the municipality of North Grenville, Mayor David Gordon, and the chair of the CAPO, Linda Savard. I'd now like to open the floor to the media for questions. Mr. Van
Tom
Dusen.
Van Dusen. I write for a couple of agricultural papers and a couple of community papers. Of course, this campus has a long history as an educational or an agricultural facility. How large a component will agriculture play in the reformatting?
I appreciate that question. Very good question. And my response would be a significant role. In fact, the first area of interest for this hub is in fact agriculture. You have heard Ms. Savard speak of some programming already in place for horticulture, for adult education. I know we have had conversations, as I mentioned, they're ongoing, for programming of farm to school with other organizations. It is our long-term goal, as an example, is that students will grow food on this campus. That food will be processed in that cafeteria and offered to the residents of the campus and anyone that's willing to attend the cafeteria. So the farm to school program is one of the first areas that we want to establish. We also, and again, I can't get into the details as discussions are ongoing, but we are and continue to meet with a number of agricultural organizations to look at establishing programming, and as I said, not only at the elementary and secondary level, but adult education. And it is our ultimate goal to see post-secondary programming to make its way back.
Can I follow
Sure,
up?
sure, absolutely.
So you have not acquired the working farm part of the campus.
No, we have not.
Did you acquire the maple sugar?
Yes, we have,
Process?
absolutely, yes.
So without the working farm part, I guess there will be no practical farming courses.
Our focus is mostly on the plant agriculture and horticulture type of program that we have. Now, that wouldn't prevent us from offering programming that may not involve the practical side of agriculture. But certainly, as you accurately stated, the farm side is not being acquired by the municipality.
Can I ask what happens to that?
You're only allowed two.
You don't have to be bossy already. Could I ask what happens to that? Does that remain with the Agricultural Institute of Ontario? or
Again,
some
very
other
good question. I appreciate that question. For everyone here, it's the lands that were identified in gray remain property owned by the Agricultural Research Institute of Ontario. I can tell you, and I think most of you might be aware, the province has a very specific disposition process for their lands, and I suspect that they will be going through that process as we close off on this deal to determine the outcome of those lands. You have to talk to the boss.
Okay, what is it?
Does the University of Guelph have any kind of a role at this point on this
Well,
campus?
I'll answer it this way. The Animal Health Lab is still on campus, and they will be a tenant. They will be a stakeholder. We have always left the door open with the University of Guelph. While it was very difficult for this community, this council, to hear the news in 2014 that the University of Guelph was closing its doors, I think we showed them a bit of resiliency in that we were not going to abandon the agricultural community in Eastern Ontario, and we wanted to keep the door open to any future possibilities with the university. I think you'll recall through the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, there was a working group put together by the minister, and the hope was that we were able to communicate with all post-secondary institutions, they be at university or college levels, to see if there was opportunities to bring someone to the campus and more or less take over from the University of Guelph or offer a semblance of some type of programming. And unfortunately, at the conclusion of that work, there was no early takers to move forward in that direction. So we did not abandon, and that's when we were approached by the CPO to work together. And I'm very proud that agriculture is going to be a big part and the first part of how we evolve as a community hub.
You
No, but somebody else might want to ask something.
I think I'll just go here and then, thank you.
So obviously you said Guelph is still active on the campus. I understand there's another post-secondary institution that is active on the campus. Is there currently any talks, or is there an interest in delivering post-secondary education?
If I may ask you a question, what post-secondary institution that's other than the University of Guelph that's on the campus?
I understand, I thought McGill University was
No.
involved on the campus, no?
No. I'll answer that question, no. But I will say that, as I said earlier, we continue to have conversations with a number of organizations. And it would be premature for me to start naming those organizations as we're talking about a variety of different things. Now, if a post-secondary institution would approach us, we're all about partnering. Here's an example with the CPO. Absolutely, we want to listen to what they would have to offer and bring to the community hub for sure.
Can I add something to that as well? Because all of the school boards in the area have an adult education mandate. And so the program, the adult education program in horticulture that Mrs. Savard was talking about is within that mandate. And that program in particular is aimed at, I'm going to say maybe mature adults in transition, career transition.
Or specialist.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. A dual credit, yes, and actually a fast track program, 16 weeks, that actually provide people with a work placement as well. So it's intended to provide people with skills for to work, and it's also in partnership with Landscape Ontario. And when we were offering apprenticeship programs, we had a partnership with Landscape Ontario. And I will note that there is interest as well in other parties who would like to see those programs run in English.
Thank you, Pat.
Oh, and I will add that it's a hybrid program. So part of it is online and part of it is here. So what it's allowed us to do is open up our greenhouse again, which is nice.
Very nice. Very good news. Absolutely.
I'm finished now.
And just to add, we are presently in discussion with La Cité Collégiale and Collège Boréal, the two Francophone college, to join into the programs.
So I guess when we hear those detailed information, it's kind of like a rebirth, if you wish, in that sector. And I would suspect that it's not going to happen overnight, but there are some interests, as we just heard, from post-secondary institutions. So at least we have a project and a site that could certainly accommodate. So we'll see where these discussions lead for sure.
Brian, that lady down there.
No? Okay.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Bedford with the Recorder and Times.
Hi, Sabrina.
Just curious, how much of the 34 buildings are currently occupied and how much, I guess, is available for potential tenants?
The exact number I don't have top of mind. I don't know, Pat, if you have an exact number, but sorry, Pat, put you on the spot. I'll say this, there are currently, we have two ministries that fully occupy two buildings, the Ministry of Natural Resources, the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, and in one of those buildings, I believe, is the Natural Resources building. Service Ontario is there, which was another issue, if you recall, a few years back, that this community was able to ensure it stayed in its rightful place. We talked about the CPO. They have and currently occupy, in fact, 3 buildings. We refer to it P&E, so that would be in, what does P&E stand for again? Power and Equipment Building, just to the south here. Their elementary school is being run out of there. They have the Rourke Building, and I believe about a month ago, the daycare was opened. And of course,
The French Catholic Board has.
yeah, that's where I was going next. Thank you, Pat. And the administration building, of course. The French Catholic Board is occupying again, I'm not good with all those names.
Fraser?
The Fraser Building and Gibson is very important. Gibson, the French Catholic Board, and you heard me talk about investment. That will be their secondary school. If I remember correctly in my discussions with the board. So there's a number of buildings there. Yes, Pat?
So a parish building is shared use, so multiple parties are using parish. Purvis is unoccupied, but there's a lot of interest in Purvis. It's a heritage building. Bell Residence was taken out of decommission mode in the fall for leadership camps for the CPO, and the cafeteria was also taken out of decommission in the fall on an as-needed basis. So we're hoping to be able to get that into full use as well.
And there's also the small building just across from the Catholic elementary school that is vacant.
Yeah, the small research lab.
Research lab.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the buildings that Pat has mentioned that have been decommissioned as part of the University of Guelph process to end their involvement on this campus, I can tell you that Purvis, Bell, the cafeteria, we have had significant interest in those buildings and continue our conversations with them. So hopefully that answers your question. If you need more information, certainly when we're done, you can come and see me. I'll try to get those names accurate for you. Any other questions? Oui.
Anne Tremblay, conseillère scolaire avec le CSSE, French Catholic School Board Trustee. I'm just wondering, est-ce qu'il va y avoir un consortium des locataires pour la gestion des espaces pour qu'on puisse tous avoir une voix?
Absolument, j'apprécie la question. Essentiellement, comme j'ai mentionné, on espère pouvoir réunir tous les locataires aussitôt possible pour leur donner un peu plus d'aperçu de l'entente et l'achat que la municipalité a fait du campus. Et par après, c'est sûr que sous la gouvernance qui va être proposée par BDO Canada, on envisage certainement avoir un groupe qui représente les locataires pour pouvoir donner de l'avis à l'organisme à but non lucratif qui va gérer le campus dans le futur. Oui, oui, allez-y.
Je me demandais, je vais parler en français ensuite en anglais. Pour ceux qui se souviennent, c'est le CSSE qui a approché la municipalité en premier pour faire le partenariat avec nos écoles. Mais je me demande pourquoi le CSSE a été exclu dans le partenariat avec le CPO et la municipalité. In English, for those of you who might remember, the French Catholic School Board was the first to approach the municipality and REO to be able to come and open up a school here on campus. And I'm just wondering why we weren't invited to the table with the municipality and the French Public School Board in this partnership, since our school was the first one here, and we're definitely growing as well and requesting. We can't find extra space for our students right now.
Well, that's definitely good news. And I know that Patricia is working very hard with your staff to find adequate space for the Catholic students that are coming to the campus. Unless my memory does not serve me correctly, I'm not quite sure as to the timing as who came in the door first. But I will clarify that the partnership with the CEPO was basically, we were approached by the school board to acquire land. As I mentioned, $3.7 million. As part of the negotiations with the province, I can say that if it wasn't for that partnership, we probably wouldn't be here today. The French Catholic School Board, we're all about partnership. We want to partner. Never did the board approach us to acquire land in that fashion. So it was more or less an opportunity that was presented to us, as opposed to us choosing any board. There was none of that, and certainly will never be any of that. And that's how the partnership transpired. Any other questions? Yes.
Paulina Hrabak of the Kentville Advance. So you've discussed how education and training and health and wellness will fit into the new vision. I'm wondering if you can speak to how economic development specifically will fit into the new vision.
Well, absolutely. And economic development was mentioned throughout my presentation as a third pillar. And as you know, Most of our time was spent negotiating for the acquisition. But how we see it is for-profit or non-for-profit organizations that are provide a synergy with what we represent as a community hub, an education and community hub. I spoke of climate change resiliency, low carbon innovation. So organizations that want to promote that through an education and community hub will be welcome to attend the campus, to work with our schools. If there's opportunities for an incubation type project, we certainly will be looking. If there's opportunities for space to be on the campus, we will do that. We would have a vision, for example, it was one of my visions, we're not there yet, I haven't talked to anyone about it, but I would love to see one day a solar-powered greenhouse on this campus. So my vision is, wouldn't it be interesting to have someone come to Canada and promote a solar-powered greenhouse and see and show the students how it works, and to see their food grow in the middle of winter through solar power, and be able to use that to have their own food at the end of the growing season. So that's the kind of approach we're going to have from an economic development perspective.
And as a follow-up, do you have an estimate for roughly how many new jobs will be created locally through the new vision? We haven't put that calculation together, but I think through the work that BDO Canada is going to be doing, extrapolating the numbers from the feasibility study and finding more accurate data in 2018, and then developing the business plan, we should be able to have some answers to that question for sure. The hope is for sure that it's going to create local jobs. We as a community, as Mayor Gordon alluded to at the outset, it was a significant blow to this community. The employees of the University of Guelph at the Kentville campus contributed significantly to this community. And to see those jobs being lost did not go unnoticed, not only visually, but from a financial and economic development perspective. So the reason we're here today, and I don't know if Mayor Gordon remembers, but on March 12th, when we were called to, in fact it was the administration building, to hear the announcement, we sat down and we said, we can't afford to do this. We can't afford to sit back and watch this happen. My comment to the mayor was, as CAO of a thriving community that has a post-secondary institution, and colleagues of mine that have post-secondary institutions in their communities, we're not going to give up. We're going to push this to the end. Would we have liked to see a post-secondary institution, as I said earlier, take back the campus and provide post-secondary programming? Of course we would have loved to see that. We went through the process. We knocked on the doors. Unfortunately, there was no early takers. So there was one organization that came to us and said, we think we can help and we think we can partner, and that's the CPO. And that's why we're here today, creating new jobs.
And if I may just add, like right now we have over 20 people that are working at our school, and I'm assuming that probably the Conseil Catholique is the same way. So right now we're already creating job, and that's not including the job for the construction that is going on right now. So it has started.
And thank you for that. And from there's always the trickle-down effects. I think of our downtown that is walking distance from the campus. Those individuals are spending money in our community, so it's a positive step.
And I'll add one comment, because I always have to, you know this, Brian. If we hadn't told them on that day to fuddle-duddle that we weren't going to allow the college to close down, and we moved forward, we fought every inch to get the campus, would have been sitting here rotting in the ground, because you know how the province works. We had a vision and we didn't give up, and it's here today, and it's going to grow.
As you're waiting to ask me other questions, I just want to mention, we did put together some press kits. Certainly you can grab them in the back. Both organizations, CPO, have a French and English news release. So does the municipality in both languages, and a backgrounder. That map that I had up on the screen is there as well. So I would encourage anyone from the media who would like to have those resources in developing any type of story on this issue to grab them on your way out. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Has the nonprofit organization been formally created yet?
I'm glad you asked that question. The quick answer is no, but you'll recall I mentioned BDO Canada through Dr. Stratton and the business plan. We'll be developing the governance structure of the not-for-profit. If I were to take a guess, we hope to have a governance structure to allow us to look at establishing the not-for-profit corporation in and around June. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just suggesting that when I look at the calendar and the time frame and the work ahead of us, June should be a good guesstimate as to when we would be looking at that. And I think, you know, I recall when we first started this process, there were some individuals that were wondering, well, how can a municipality run a college? And certainly we're not here today telling you we're running a college. But very early on, we knew that we needed to have professionals running the community hub. And that's why the municipality is going to ensure to create that not-for-profit corporation and appoint people there that are very knowledgeable on agriculture, on education, on economic development, on health and wellness, to assist the administration of the community hub in moving forward and developing it and administering it for the community and the stakeholders on campus.
Okay, as a follow-up.
Sure.
So will the timing, say, of the creation of the board that would be required as part of that nonprofit organization, will that board be chosen right basically as soon as the organization itself is created?
I don't think we will be wanting to wait too long. Municipalities need to govern municipalities, and community hubs need to be operated and maintained by experts in community hubs. I think you understand what I'm saying between the lines. So I think we're not going to be waiting too long. Our goal is to, once the governance structure is in place, is to certainly try to, and the process I can't identify right now, but certainly to garner interest of people, professionals in those areas that will allow us to flourish as a community hub. We will go through a process and appointments will be made.
Will the organization itself start with some funding? Because I know you had applied to GCFDC for money for the business plan. Was there money built into that funding to have like a pool of money to help the nonprofit launch?
I don't think there was any money there directly to launch, but there are dollars available. You heard me talk about communication plans. You heard me talk about strategic and business plans, governance structure. The municipality and the CPO have partnered with CFDC with those funds to prepare that work. So certainly there is some funds there by that organization. I can tell you that the climate change piece is one that allows for significant funding that's available. And certainly in talks with Minister Leal from a rural economic development perspective, there are dollars there, and certainly from the agricultural perspective, there are dollars there. And I know in talking with Pat on her one-year assignment that part of her tasks includes looking at all of the potential funding opportunities that this venture could apply for, and hopefully will be successful in attaining the funds.
So I assume Pat's going to be involved with that nonprofit specifically?
Yes.
Currently, Pat's title is project manager for a one-year contract under the Kentville Campus Education and Community Hub. Yes. Hi, Marty. Thanks for coming. Any other questions that we could answer for you? Because this day's been a long coming. I look at the faces in the crowd, and there's people that ask me every 2 weeks for information on where we were heading. And I wish I could have provided much more information at that time, but I couldn't. But today is a very important day for me, for this council, the CFPO, to be able to convey to you all the information that we can on our project. And I hope and I believe that the community and you here that we invited today in the media are satisfied with the work that we've done to ensure that, and I appreciate the question about the jobs, to restore those jobs, to bring back the pride of this 100-year facility to the community of North Grenville. If there are no more questions, I'd encourage the media to grab some of those press kits, and we've asked our friends, was it a Catered Affairs, Cal, to help us out, and we've got some refreshments at the back. So feel free to grab some refreshments, and if you want to chat with Pat or myself, or members of council, Ms. Samar, Stéphane, we're more than happy to have a chat. Thank you very much. I wish to thank everyone for coming today and sharing in our good news for Kentville campus.